Hello there, welcome back to the Agostinho Zinga show with your host Agostinho Zinga, and this is episode number 954. That is 954 of the Agostinho Zinga show, coming at you live and direct from an undisclosed location somewhere within the depths of East London. How are you doing? How you feeling? Great. That's good to hear. How am I? All good, all things included. May have a little bit of a bloated stomach because I packed myself full of food before my Philippine extended fast, but you know what we do, we just keep it moving, we keep it clocking on. But apart from that, everything is gravy on this side. There are some people who aren't feeling too gravy, main person being Roi Perez, who we're going to get into a bit later. But it's a pretty serious, pretty crazy situation we're in at the moment. There's this active collective of people who are behind the anonymous Instagram account called Ravers of Palestine, who are just out here, just, you know, indiscriminately cancelling DJs if they've ever served any time in the Israeli Defense Force, right, the IDF. But with Roi Perez's situation, it's a bit unique because if I'm not mistaken, there are stories or there are claims out there that Roi Perez served in the Israeli army. I think he was in the Navy or something for like 7 years. And I think you're only required to serve like 2.5 or 3 years. So he must have really enjoyed allegedly killing like Palestinians and shit. It's fucking wild. I was like, what? You served 7 years? We're going to get into that later, but imagine serving 7 years in the Israeli army and no one noticed until now. I don't know what, that's probably why cancel culture is kind of lame, because he never hid that part of his story. It was always out there, but no one said anything, you know? No one said anything. Everyone was okay with it. Then suddenly, you know, what happens over there, and what happens over there in that part of the world. There's more attention brought to it. People are now, you know, just upset about what's going on and want it to end. So they're doing everything within their power, what's in their control, to try and make it end, or to, you know, maybe influence a decision, to see if I have something in their likelihood. And yeah, they're trying really hard, and I guess people will have to pay a price. And I guess at the moment, some DJ bookings are going to start dwindling, because that's a rough sentiment. And you know how it is with clubs and stuff and the scene. Everyone's on this like copycat thing. So the fact that he gets cancelled for one club in London, most likely it's going to be like a domino effect. He's just not going to have any more bookings, you know. And then if you're a club that decides to book him, people are going to then boycott your club, you know. So it's like everyone is in the madness. So big up Ravers from Palestine. We'll get into that in a minute. But we've got loads of stuff to cover, loads of stuff to get onto. The #1 cultural commentary show in the world. So make sure you sit back, relax, grab yourself a drink, whatever else you got there, and let's just dive on in. First thing you want to get into, away from Roi Perez, has to be this story that I just saw on my timeline just now. This is fresh off the press. This is pretty crazy. British drug mule George Wilson facing death penalty in Thailand. Everything you need to know. Yeah, you heard that right. There's a British young person in Thailand who was for some reason smuggling meth. Can you believe that? Can you believe that there was a kid in Thailand who thought it would be a good idea to smuggle meth? Like, honestly, only my fellow British people can do this. Like, weirdly, although this is a crazy story, I kind of feel proud. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of feel slightly proud. So this is the picture of the young man, right? And he's like, if you're not looking at the image, it's the image of him sat on the table with his handcuffs on, pointing to various bags that are on the table, and I'm assuming all those bags contain meth. And they do that thing in Thailand. I think they also do it in parts of South America, where if you get caught by narcotics, they make you pose with whatever they caught you with as a kind of show of force to kind of dissuade other criminals and shit. It's kind of It's not kind of humiliating. It's extremely humiliating. And they've got this kid like sat there posing, pointing at his stash. Look at how pissed he is, mate. Look at how pissed he is. Like, Jesus. He's still wearing the same Under Armour shirt he was probably wearing when he was in bed, or when he got up to have like the hotel breakfast, and he's just like sat there thinking, oh my fucking god, Wait until everyone sees this. And if you're not, if I'm zooming in closely, it looks like he tried to smuggle bags of meth back in. I don't know if he's trying to smuggle it out of Thailand or into Thailand, but either way, they're like in bags of tea. He tried to disguise the meth in bags of tea. Looks like some sort of tea there. Pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy. But let's read the article and see exactly what went down. Today, British tourists. Imagine being a tourist, but then deciding to smuggle meth. People go to Thailand to, like, I don't know, hit some lady boys with like no conscience, right, and no guilty conscience, sorry, or maybe goes, you know, have a little fucking what's that thing called? A little happy ending. You don't go to Thailand to smuggle meth. Like, Jesus Christ. Today, British tourist George Wilson appears before a Thai courtroom accused of being a drug mule in a case that has left those who know the mild-mannered young man completely stunned. Mild-mannered, my ass. Wilson of High Wycombe, Buckinghamshire, stands accused of attempting to smuggle a suitcase full of crystal meth out of Thailand, a crime that has very serious consequences in the southeast of Asia. According to travel guidance published in British government website, possessing even small quantities of illegal substances can carry results in heavy fines or imprisonment, while possessing Class A drugs can even lead to a death penalty. Meanwhile, conditions in Thai prisons and other detention facilities are known to be brutal, with limited healthcare access, and tragically, detainees have previously died in custody. Imagine you don't say that Thai prisons aren't, like, you know, the !1 priority isn't healthcare. You don't say you don't say that maybe if you end up in a Thai prison, you are FUCKED exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark. You do not say. There must be a lot of money involved, man. If he was trying to smuggle this meth out of Thailand back into the UK, I'm assuming there must be a lot of money involved. But it also goes to show how stringent Thailand is when it comes to their border patrols or border whatever. Because some countries have this thing at the border where if you're leaving their country, they don't give a fuck, right? But some countries have it the other way around. Some countries, you know, they're as strict if you're departing or if you're arriving. But this is kind of insane. But I'd assume the money involved is probably too good to turn down, which is why he rolled this dice and took his risk. He's probably been offered a very high amount. But the unfortunate side of this thing, because I've watched too many documentaries about this sort of fucking shit, when they do get you, if some sort of big drug dealer or whoever convinces you to be a drug mule, the really sad and unfortunate part about all of this is that usually whatever money they promise you, you never get. You know, so they fuck you. So they make you take the massive risk of going to another country, trying to smuggle drugs out of that country, not get killed in the process, not get imprisoned in the process. And if you manage to bring it back, if you're one of the lucky few that manages to slip through the cracks, you don't even get the money promised you. You know, you might just get your plane ticket and your hotel that they got for you beforehand, and that's it. There's no money given to you, which is fucking crazy, really, considering the risks involved. And if they don't give you the money, what can you do? It's not like you can complain to the police, can you? So you got to just suck it up. So it's a bit of a fool's errand, really. The grim fate faced by the 23-year-old Wilson, who denies any knowledge of the drugs found in his suitcase, of course he would, is world away from the comfortable life he used to live in the UK. Here's Wilson's story continues to unfold. Bloody hell. The Mirror takes a look at everything we know so far. Apologies for that one. That was disgusting. Did George Wilson have a privileged background? Hold on. He comes from money? No way. Don't tell me he comes from money. That's ridiculous. Don't tell me that. Wilson was born into an extremely wealthy family, with one millionaire relative reportedly associated with the festival headliners Iron Maiden. What? What? This kid is related to people that are in Iron Maiden and he's in Thailand smuggling meth. This can't be true. Like, what the fuck is this kid doing? He must be a distant relative then. Maybe his family don't have money. Having enjoyed many advantages of pampered upbringing, Wilson attended an exclusive Hurst Lodge school in Ascot, Surrey. Okay, I've not even been to Surrey myself, but I know Surrey is a very nice place. I think a lot of former footballers live in Surrey. There's a lot of Jaguars in Surrey, a lot of Volvos, a lot of Porsches and shit, which charges an annual fee of 70 grand a year. He went to a private school that charges more than I've ever made in a fucking salary job. 70 grand. Fellow alumni include Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, and the actress Juliet Stevenson. It's understood that the young man lives a highly sought after area close to the river. He lives by the River Thames. While his family has a number of properties and business interests, he lives by the River Thames. He went to a school that charges 70 grand tuition fee, and he has relatives who are part of Iron Maiden, and he's smuggling drugs. But to be fair to him, if you go to a private school, I'd imagine the drug usage in private schools is crazy. Like, I'd imagine drug usage. So if you can get hold of some stuff, those kids are going to be buying for you forever until the day you graduate. Essentially, you got locked in customers. So the money you could make from a bit of meth in a fucking private school is crazy potentially. You could even sell it to the teachers probably. Do you know what I mean? Those people are super, you know, they're out of the way. They probably had no, like, how would they have access to get drugs anyway? Do you know? They're like too upper class and shit. So they would definitely trust somebody that looks and sounds like them, from the same background as them, if they're selling it. So maybe that was what the temptation was, isn't it? Go back home and just like hustle and break that shit down and sell as much high profit as possible. George Wilson's family, friends, shock. Honestly, these pictures are amazing. Big up Thailand, man. These pictures are so good. Look what they make you do. Look what they make you do. They've opened his luggage, all the stuff's in there, and they're making him stand there and point, and they're holding his shoulders. The narcotics agents, they're so smart, innit? They're so smart how they clock it. They probably knew he was carrying something from the moment they saw him in the airport. They probably had the feeling, okay, this kid's definitely doing something dodgy. Look at them. Look at the Thai police out there. Just like, this is incredible. Truly, truly incredible. As reported by the Mail Online, those close to Wilson have expressed astonishment that the former public schoolboy has become entangled in a serious situation. One family told the publication, "It's astonishing that someone from such a high-heeled background could find himself caught up in this. No one could have believed it when they saw his reports of George's arrest." Meanwhile, relatives who learned of George Wilson's arrest while abroad, a worldwide cruise revealed, imagine, you've got family that are on cruise at the moment. That's how you know you come from privilege. George is a very well brought up and mild-mannered young man. You would never expect it situation as far as I know. He doesn't even drink. As far as I know, of course, you don't know jack shit. As far as I know, he doesn't drink. Bro, you don't go smuggling meth if you don't have a drinks, let alone have any involvement in drugs. Of course, as far as I know. How was George Wilson caught? In a post made on social media about Wilson's arrest, Thai police explained that their investigation team received a tip-off that a group of foreigners were planning narcotics handover at the hotel. Oh no, he wasn't even caught at the airport. Oh, peak. That must hurt. That must fucking hurt. He wasn't even caught at the airport. Somebody snitched. Somebody snitched. Oh, that is so painful. I wonder if there's a possibility that whoever snitched is involved with the police. Like, hear me out. You do a drugs deal with some fucking, you know, rosy-cheeked teenagers or young people from England. You charge them. Imagine if you're a Thai drug dealer. You charge these rosy-cheeked, kids from England crazy amount for meth. Like, you probably overcharge them 2 times, 3 times over. These kids come to Thailand with cash. They pay you the money. You give them the drugs. But you don't give a fuck about these kids. They're privileged. They're white. You're like, fuck them. So you ring your connect and the police. You snitch on them. Then when they get arrested and caught and the drugs get confiscated, you've got another connect in the police that can get them out of evidence for you as well. You know? So you know, and you could bust down, you know, whatever the money that you receive from the kid. That might be an actual good way to kind of go about business, you know, like, and you get the drugs back anyway, but you've made, you know, however much you've made that you then split with the police officers. That could possibly be a thing. Oh my God. It was the officers swooped, it was that officer swooped under Wilson's Bangkok hotel room and arrested him, having found 9.1 kg of Class A narcotics or Class A drugs in the suspect's possessions. Jesus Christ. How can you can't even lie, innit? If they find you with the luggage in your hotel room stuffed full of drugs, you can't even say it's not yours. It's impossible. How can you say you didn't put it there? It's different when you go to the airport, right? But you can't say that when you're actually in the hotel room. There's no way you can say that anyone's gonna believe it. Oh no, guy. It's been alleged that Wilson received the illicit stash of methamphetamine from a fellow Brit staying in a hotel in the city's red light district on the evening of Monday, 29th of September. The Foreign Office has since confirmed that it's in contact with the Thai authorities of the arrest of a British man. Of course they are, because he's rich. He's definitely going to get help. He might be okay, you know. He might not even face any time in prison because he's got, you know, he comes from a wealthy background, probably got good connections. As long as he's got a good lawyer, he'll probably be okay. Footage of Wilson's arrest shows him telling police he'd been in Thailand for 2 weeks. When asked what was inside his bag, the Brit said, "I don't know." It was then police officers opened the case. After looking under a pair of flip-flops, a white towel, they uncovered 10 green foil bags of Chinese tea concealing methamphetamine. Responding to the discovery, Woolsey said, "I don't know what it is." Fucking hell. Officers can then be seen opening the back hitches, revealing the drugs on camera as evidence before carrying out a quick chemical test to prove the substance was indeed methamphetamine. Lieutenant Colonel Nofu Dongbu from the Lumpini district station issued the following statement. He was arrested on 29th of... so I didn't know. I can't do that. Should I do that Thai accent? No, let's not do that. He was arrested on 29th of September at 6 p.m. He is currently in the police custody and will be taken to Bangkok South Criminal Court tomorrow for detention. Snoopy. Honestly. Maybe not that bad of an idea, you know, stuffing it all in a tea bags. I'm not going to lie. Not really a bad idea. Wilson allegedly informed police that he was received a pink suitcase from the drugs runners by the name Snoopy. The suspect allegedly received £460 for his part of the activities. Thai police have claimed that Wilson was due to carry narcotics through, what's that thing called? Suvarnabhumi International Airport and onwards onto the destination country where another member of the gang would meet him. He only got £460 for it. Bomba. Officers had been tracking the suspect in a number of days after gathering intelligence based on his movements. After checking the CCTV in the hotel, they were able to confirm the packages had been delivered. It was then that they obtained the arrest warrant to search the hotel room. Blah blah blah. The Office of Narcotics Control Board, the ONCB, and found a 9.152.3 grams of crystal methamphetamine known as ice. Officers suspect the meth was produced at drug labs in conflict-ravaged Myanmar, before being brought over to Thailand. Siranwicha Intorn, superintendent of the crime supervision, the Metropolitan Police Division 5, stated that the suspect had been charged with distributing Category 1 narcotics of ice with the intent to sell in violation of the law, which constitutes a commercial act that contributes to the speed of drugs among the public. We believe he was part of a cross-border drug smuggling network, which is very serious. The amount of drugs was seized was also large. The highest level of Royal Thai Police had coordinated make arrest. Jesus Christ. Yo, big up Automech Screen Printing as well. Thank you for the super chat, brother. What's good, buddy? What's good to you, my friend? I'm just out here chilling, talking about young privileged kids trying to move 91 kg of fucking crystal meth from Thailand all the way back to the UK. That's what I'm doing, brother. That's what I'm currently doing. I don't know what the fuck is going on with these kids these days. Just stay in school, live your privileged life, drive the fucking fancy car your dad got you. Like, what's wrong with you, man? You get given an allowance. Like, why is a kid that gets given an allowance, right? Why is there a young man that's probably given a fucking 10 grand a week, if not more, a month fucking allowance? Why is he in Thailand trying to smuggle crystal meth? Honestly, man, Jesus Christ, kid. Woodrow Wilson get a death penalty. According to reports, known executions of drug-related offences account for more than 40. Oh my God! Excuse me. Executions for drug-related offences account for more than 40% of global executions, with the most of these executions taking place in Asia. Oh shit, I'll be scared. Brits travelling to Thailand are urged to be mindful of the country's strict drug laws while importing or exporting Category 1 narcotics such as heroin, methamphetamine, and other synthetic drugs carries a maximum punishment of death. Although the the death penalty is rarely handed out to Western tourists in these instances, this doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Perhaps most famously, Australian woman Nola Blake was sentenced to death back in 1987 after being found guilty of trafficking charges. Her sentence, which would have been involved in death by firing squad, was ultimately commuted to life imprisonment. She eventually returned home in 1988, having been given a royal pardon. Fuck. I don't know, man. This kid is fucking crazy. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. But this picture is sending me, bro. The pictures they made him take, they're fucking sending me. He looks so pissed. He looks like he's regretting every fucking reason why he fucking did this fucking move. These pictures are so good. But I wonder, last time I went to Thailand, actually, I remember when you go to that part of Asia, you are kind of bombarded with signs and voice prompts and shit and posters telling you how illegal drugs are. But at the same token, when you're a tourist walking around these places, you can't turn without somebody offering you drugs, you know? So it's a strange place, that part of Asia. They're very strict with drugs, but there's always people offering to sell you drugs. Mushroom, weed. I mean, they're always fucking trying to sell you something. So it's a strange place to be. But I think you could probably enjoy them there. But you don't move them around. Don't be fucking crazy. Don't try to act like you're back here. Essentially, they'll probably do it out in public. Try and keep it somewhat discreet. But this kid was anything. This kid was kind of discreet. He was trying to conceal it in tea bags, but unfortunately for him, somebody in the operation snitched, and they found it in his hotel room. Like, honestly, how can you even, like, he was in there, right? Whilst he was in his hotel room, like, I can't imagine how that must have felt. I can't fucking imagine. But what's his name, by the way? What's his kid's name again? Is it George? I think it was George, right? What's his kid's name? I think it's George. Yeah, but free George, man. Free George Wilson till it's backwards. Free George Wilson till it's backwards. Talking about freedom, let's talk a little bit about Roi Perez. This is a really old screen grab that I managed to grab because I couldn't get a hold of the picture, by the way. I couldn't get a hold of the original picture. But this is from, like, what, 2017, I think? This is a screenshot of a video that I did where I reviewed my night out seeing Dr. Rubenstein play back-to-back all night long at Mixed Garage, which is a venue now that's called Color Factory, back-to-back with Roi Perez, who is the main subject of this particular podcast. And it was fucking fantastic. Really one of the best nights I've had out in a long time. The music was fucking sensational. Everyone was dancing from minute 1 to the end. It's kind of my first time seeing both of them play live anyway, and they killed it. And I think that was a time when they were playing back to back a lot. They were very close. I'm not sure what's happened to them now, but they were very close back then. I don't know if they talk to each other anymore, but they were very, 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 very close back then. But nowadays, not so much. I think I don't really see them playing too much. But one thing I do remember when after the gig happened, I asked them for a picture. You know who was actually the warmest and was actually down and really friendly about getting the picture? Roi Perez. Dr. Rubenstein was a little bit, she was a little bit weird and iffy, but she might just have a thing generally with men. A lot of these women DJs are like that because, the scene is a bit toxic and shit. So I get it. But Roi Perez was super nice. He was super, no problem, man, come here. I mean, hugged me, like, literally hugged me from behind, and I got the picture there, as you can tell, of me fucking fanning out, right, looking at these guys, right there, as you can see, having a fucking blast, right, in between these two fucking DJs. So I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of sad to see what's happening to Roi Perez now. I'm not gonna lie, it is breaking my heart to see what's happening to Roi Perez right now, because he's getting cancelled, and he's getting cancelled in a way where I legitimately think this might have, like, long-lasting damaging effects to his overall DJ career, and I don't think it's fair in general. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really think it's fair because this is a bit nuts. So if you don't really know what's happening, this story is going all over the place, right? This is courtesy of RA. It says Roi Perez releases a statement on his cancelled London show. The Israeli DJ, who recently drew criticism from online groups Ravers of Palestine, said he rejects all forms of nationalism, including Zionism. So essentially, Roi Perez was meant to play at this club called for this night that we got here in London called Origins. Origin Sound, they do some of the best nights here, to be fair. They always get some of the best DJs. I've been to too many of them. They do events all over London. That's something I really rate about them as well. They transform every club into something that they kind of make their own. I think last thing I went to, they had who played at Night Tales? Who did I go to see? Was it Gerd Jansen? I think it might have been Gerd Jansen at Night Tales. I'm not too sure. Maybe it was Gerd Jansen or somebody else disco-y. But last something I went to Origin that did was at Night Tales. But they do raves everywhere, all across London. Fold, Corsica, venue, whatever good venue there is, they fucking make it happen. I'm actually surprised Origins haven't done a festival just yet. But Roi Perez was meant to play. And let me see if I can actually see the flyer. Roi Perez, all night long, London. Maybe I can see the original flyer, because the event doesn't exist anymore because it's cancelled. So they usually delete any, it's hard to get. Yeah, there we go. So there's the original flyer for what Roi Perez was meant to be playing at over there. And I think it was an all night long. And I was actually keeping an eye out for it. I actually wanted to go. This was going to be an all night long affair in Fold of all places, right? Him playing all night long in not Fold, sorry, Venue MOT. But I think they changed it to Fold. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Whatever. It was an all night long affair this Friday happening. And it's been cancelled super last minute, because Ravers for Palestine, this really cool page that kind of highlights, people in the industry, or no, just highlights the plight of the Palestinians, and obviously kind of tries to mobilize people in the dance music community to essentially boycott, protest, do whatever that they can do to essentially help bring about the end of the of the genocide that's occurring there in Palestine, isn't it? So free Palestine always, right, until it's fucking backwards. But it can sometimes feel a little bit like as much as I like Ravers for Palestine, the platform and the page, sometimes I feel like they go a little bit over the top, a little bit sometimes. In this respect, I don't feel like they did go over the top. I just feel like it's unfair, because a lot of this information about Roi Perez has been available online for a while. And I think it should be the responsibility of the club promoters, the party promoters, to decide if he doesn't align with them. But for Ravers for Palestine to do what they did and kind of put it out there, that he had served in the IDF, I think specifically the Navy, and if it to get picked up and become a big deal, so much that Origins decides to cancel his gig, it's a bit bad mind. I also don't like the tattletale nature of it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the tattletale nature of it. It feels a bit snitchy. It feels a little bit whole monetary. I don't like that aspect of it at all, zero. But once you read into it and you find out like Roi Perez allegedly served in the Israeli Navy for like 7 years, you're like, huh? And then you Google how long you're required by law to serve in the Israeli Defense Force or the Israeli Army. You find out it's like only 2.5 years. So it's like, what the fuck were you doing in the Navy for 7 years? So he must have really fucking enjoyed bombing parts of Palestine, you'd imagine. Allegedly. I don't know what's going on. So this article was one of the main things that kind of led to the demise of Roi Perez. I think DJ career overall, because I don't think it's going to survive this. I think there's going to be a domino effect of other clubs seeing what's happened here and then being pressured by their customers or feeling morally obliged to kind of go behind what they're doing and decide to kind of cancel shows, and it's going to get crazy, I think, for him. But let's read it anyway. This is the article courtesy of the Substack, Green Substack. It says, making apartheid look like a party, how DJs like Roi Perez manufacture consent for settlers colonialism. Heavy accusations, right? But anyway, let's just read what they're saying here, because this is heavy. It says, London nightclub Fold is advertising Origins all night long with Roi Perez, an artist who has done more than almost anyone to normalize Israel in the underground rave culture. I wonder, right? I wonder if that's why, because I remember it being at Fold and it said Venue MOT. So did Fold cancel it and say, no, he can't play here? And then they had to switch it to Venue. Is that what happened? Because I did remember seeing it being at Fold. So it must have been at Fold and it got cancelled last minute. Then it got fucking just cancelled altogether. I don't like this sentence. I'm not going to lie. I don't like this sentence. This sentence, like, normalize Israel in the underground rave culture. What does that mean? So if you're Israeli, you can't participate in dance music. You can't be a part of club culture. Imagine you didn't serve in the army. Are they then going to reject or kind of, like go against you and act as if like you shouldn't be a part of the scene because you're just happen to be Israeli? I don't think that's fair across the board. I think it should depend on what you've done as opposed to just your nationality. Like, that's a little bit insane, I think. But what do I know? Roi Perez was personally invited international DJs to break cultural boycotts and play in the entity, including Nyx, Shanti Celeste. Wow, they're naming names. Marie Montextia. Yo, leave her alone, by the way. Leave my lady Marie alone. Gabriel Kwarteng, leave my fucking Black Queen alone too, please. He has glamorized Tel Aviv's diverse, dynamic, queer nightlife scene in media. But it is though, isn't it? Isn't Tel Aviv one of the best scenes out there? Prior to the genocide, weren't people saying Tel Aviv had one of the best rave scenes, one of the best club scenes and shit? There's a big gay community out there too. I've seen some of the clubs. Yeah, they look fucking fantastic, like interior design wise. So I don't know why there's all this revisionist history, like, oh, trying to norm. It's like, and if I'm not mistaken, aren't there a lot of people from Israel involved behind the scenes in the dance music industry? Like, it's just is what it is, isn't it? I don't know why people are acting belligerent or confused about it. I don't know. Let's continue. He has glamorized Tel Aviv's diverse, dynamic, queer nightlife scene in the media. His Laundrette collective held a fundraiser for Nova survivors, and alongside the other DJs in the collective, Partok and David Elimelech, he consistently undermines our community and boycotts of Berghain, Whore, and Boiler Room. How can you say he's undermining your community when he's not a part of it though? Like, that's a weird statement, isn't it? He consistently undermines our community's boycotts. So I'm guessing they're saying our community, like the DJs, right, who are boycotting Berghain, Whore, and Boiler Room because of the war in Palestine, or the genocide in Palestine, which is admirable and should be respected and praised and shit. But if you're not a part of it, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair for someone to then say, oh, you're not a part of it. That means that you are what? Undermining the boycott. Like, I'll just decide not to be a part of it. You're not undermining it. I don't think so. But what do I know? Despite this, allegedly queer resistance spaces like Basement to Body Movements to continue to book Roi Perez and other settler DJs. Settler DJs? How is he a settler DJ? This is because he's from. Is he actually a settler though? Honestly, they're throwing around some accusations. This is hilarious. They're calling him a settler DJ. Yo, I feel for Roi Perez, man. Honestly, I'm a little bit honest. Like I said before, I'm very biased, right? You know me. Look, I admit my biases. He seemed like a really nice guy. Like, he was really warm when they had that brief interaction behind the booth. Honestly, Rubenstein was the one that was more standoffish. He was actually really nice about the picture, like, and he's a really good DJ. Like, I hate it has to be him, man. I really hate it has to be him, but I guess it is what it is. Fuck it, settler DJ. Most damagingly, they promote this artist on lineups alongside ostensibly pro-Palestinian artists. So it's a crime if you don't join their boycott when you weren't a part of it in the first place. It's a crime if you're Israeli and you DJ. And it's also a crime if you're Israeli and you DJ and you play on lineups with other Palestinian DJs. It's like, what does my location on the lineup have to do with anything? Like, did I do anything? Like, I think that's what it should be about. Like, did you serve in the army? Cool. How long did you serve? What did you do? Who did you kill? Let's get into the details. Let's not just be like, oh yeah, some person was a cook. Some person served, mandatory fucking military service. They served as a fucking chef, right? Or as a nurse, and now they can't have a DJ career. Like, come on, man. That's a bit unfair, man. That's a bit unfair. There are grave instances of normalization defined by the centering of al-Tawabet as actions which co-opt and disarm and de-radicalize, revolutionary demands for liberation, laundering the occupation. Roi Perez was born and raised in Ashkelon. Isn't that where Dr. Rubenstein is from? I swear she's from there. In Ashkelon, in occupied Palestine, a few miles from the Gaza border. He's a founder of a Tel Aviv party called Laundrette. He played a key role alongside the city's underground scene. In international media, Perez is often glamorized his settler coming of age while championing Settler coming of age story is fucking insane. While championing the dynamism of the colony's queer nightlife. It is quite interesting though, isn't it, that they do what they do in places like Palestine, right? They murder women and children and shit, displace a bunch of people, bomb and eviscerate an entire fucking location. But then they also have a very vibrant, very forward thinking, queer scene in there in Israel. Don't you think that's interesting? Like that contradiction, that juxtaposition, that contrast is just wild, isn't it? What it says here: when Perez eventually moved to Tel Aviv, the people he met there opened his eyes to queer clubbing vibrant soundtrack. Being in Tel Aviv, the quote says, was much more free, he tells me. Indeed, today Tel Aviv is known for its thriving queer party scene with loose receptive crowds and clubs like Block, which act as a haven for the wider politics in the city. This is from a Crack magazine 2017, he said that. And here in the Jaeger Oslo in 2017, he said, the queer scene in Tel Aviv is definitely out there. Everything was super diverse. Maybe some people would think that politics in of itself. Versions of this also recur in his artist bio. A bio of him from ADE says, after a head start playing records in 2011 as a local resident in Tel Aviv's underground club scene. As Nerdine Kiswani has noted, scripts like this serve as a crucial legitimizing function for the entity. I don't know what that means. Tel Aviv's club scene, it says as a quote, framed as a beacon of light, progressive, diverse, and full of life, but in reality, it plays a central role in the whitewashing of Zionism, making apartheid look like That is a stretch, no? Who in their right mind sits there and thinks, oh, because Tel Aviv has a popping, thriving, vibrant club scene, that they completely forget the atrocities that are taking place in Palestine, or they completely forget the crimes that the Israeli government has perpetuated, or whatever stuff that the Israeli Defense Force, Israeli army has done. Who does that? No one in their right mind ignores what is going on because they've got a pop-in party scene. Like, that's not the truth at all. I don't believe that. That is a crazy reach, I personally think, but I could be wrong. Liberal Zionist myth-making. On 7th of October 2023, the day of Operation Al-Qasr flood, Roi Perez was scheduled to host an edition of the Laundrette in Tel Aviv. The night before, he had headlined a night at the Cabaret, a now shuttered mixed queer space with Israelis and Palestinians in Haifa. A month later, he brought London DJ Nix out to the settler colony for the 3-year resident anniversary of Gazo's, proudly titled Roi Perez Invites Nix. We spilled this out to underline that Roi Perez is not incidentally from Israel. He has served as a linchpin for the, oh my god, that is so because he puts on nights and parties where he's in the country that he's born in, that makes him a what? An extension of the government in terms of their wanting to whitewash. Like, huh? If anything, you should be focusing on his army career. Like, why did he spend 7 years in the Navy? What did he do in the Navy? What missions did he go on? Like, that should be the important thing. Not, oh, he put parties on. He organized parties in Tel Aviv. Like, isn't he from there? Like, what's wrong with that? I'm so confused. In November 2023, Roi Perez threw a special fundraiser edition of Laundrette in Berghain. Yeah, I remember seeing that. The funds will directly help survivors and evacuees of the 7/10 massacre, unsheltered Bedouin communities, displaced Palestinian communities due to the settler violence. Queer Arabs in both Israel and Palestine need professional psycho-social counseling and other undeserved groups. Yo, that's what I remember, by the way. I do remember this, right? I think I might have the article here. I do remember that being a thing. Laundrette, right? This is a party series he runs with these two other guys. He does in Tel Aviv, and they were doing it around the world, and they had one event they did in Berghain, and legitimately, as a headline here says from Mixmag, Laundrette party at Panorama Bar will donate funds to Israeli and Palestine victims of violence. I don't see why that's wrong. I know he's also donating the money to Palestinians and also Israeli people, and I know people are going to be angry about that, but it's mostly framed around giving this money to like queer folk on both sides who have been negatively affected by the war, right? who've been displaced, who probably don't have access to certain resources, medical stuff, whatever it may be. Like, I don't think this is a bad thing. This is actually pretty cool. You would imagine, because you'd imagine those, you know, those queer Palestinians, or those queer Israeli people, the queer Israeli people, they need help as well. You'd imagine some of them, especially the ones who have lived in areas where they've been affected more by the war and shit. Like, I don't see why that's a bad thing. Queer party Laundrette is coming to Berlin, sorry, for a marathon party in Panorama Bar. This was from a couple of years ago. Known for their 3 back-to-back sets, the founders David Eli Melish, Partok and Roi Perez span up to 15 hours. Laundrette swims through Chicago house, tribal drums, rave essence, acid, consummate ease. Join the trio, the Berlin Cultural Institute, Rotterdam's Susie Ijo, and London's Faf. The parties began at Tel Aviv-based Fee Garden Club. This place is, I've seen this on Instagram. This place looks gorgeous, bro. This looks really fucking cool. It's a small little club. I'm pretty sure it's in somewhere, right? Israel. Yes. Look at the bio. Permanent ceasefire now. Hostage release. De-escalation. So, do any of my friends follow? Okay, there's a couple of friends I know who follow them page. But yeah, this is a cool club, man. This is in Tel Aviv, if I'm not mistaken. It looks really cool. Let's see if I can get. Is there any videos about it? Any videos from the? Yeah, there's a video from the inside. Well, that looks cool to me. I don't know. I know some people won't be too happy with that, but I think it's a cool little club. The way it looks like. What they got in their story? Did they post anything there? Okay, yeah, they're not gonna get involved in the Roi Perez thing, and they're not gonna say free Roi. They're not gonna say free Roi. I don't think so. Yeah, they're not gonna say free Roi, but yeah, big up them. It looks like a fun little club, not gonna lie. It looks like a vibe. It looks like a vibe. Any videos of it on the dance floor? See anything? Nope. Okay, fair play. Oh, there's even a black guy there. There was even a black guy out there. But yeah, cool little club. The little outdoor patio bin with the disco ball and shit. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it. Anyway, let's go back to the article. It says this paragraph fully embodies the eliminatization. What the fuck does that word mean? Eliminatization project. What the fuck does that mean? Search Google. What does that mean? Eliminationism. What the fuck does that mean? Is a political ideology that views a group within a larger social group as harmful, therefore believes that it must be eliminated by separation. Okay, cool. Shit, new words all day. It says coveted scraps are available for the natives deemed recuperable or non-threatening, and the loyal Benidorm or Beneduine model minority plus queers, agro natives who aren't the risk of producing more natives. In addition to the note of Berkheim fundraiser for Nova survivors, Laundrette added the following quote: "We would like to emphasize our belief in coexistence and our hope for peace. That is why our home club since day one has been Fee Garden, a communal political space with staff consisting of both Palestinians and Jews, providing a safe environment for our queer community and marginalized groups." That sounds even better, isn't it? There's actually Palestinian people that work there, that live there. That's not a bad idea, right? A little safe haven, a little utopia that you can go to and escape and unplug from the horrors of everyday life, and be around the people that that are just like you. What's wrong with that? Let's continue. The myth of the settler/native coexistence is one of the core discursive pillars of the liberal Zionism. It posits the colony as an unchangeable reality, which must be accepted by the native rather than resisted. The current bio for Fee Garden: permanent ceasefire now, hostage return deal now, de-escalation and elections now, perfectly expresses the insidious violence. Hold on. Saying permanent ceasefire now and hostage return deal now and de-escalation elections now, that's violence. Aren't those words of de-escalation the complete opposite of violence? Or am I bugging? Perfectly express the insidious violence of this script, which posits the occupation of Palestine by a fascist European death cult as a problem for both sides. Yo, this whole thing is exhausting. I'm not gonna lie, man. Let's be clear, peace in this coexistence, in this context, sorry, is a euphemism for the orderly annihilation of the Palestinian life. Any settler advocating for coexistence rather than full decolonization and right of return supports the colonial occupation of Palestine and its continuance. Soft power and the settler artist. Gal Gadot is a cartoonish example of a Zionist settler. She's martial, she's hawkish, provincial. She acts poorly in a jingoistic, I love that word, jingoistic Hollywood productions. She won Miss Israel in 2004. DJ's like, she's trying to say that Roi Perez is the DJ equivalent of Gal Gadot. That's crazy, bro. Hold on. Are they about to say that Roi Perez is the DJ equivalent of Gal Gadot because he puts on a couple of parties in Tel Aviv? Come on. DJs like Roi Perez are queer, metropolitan, subcultural. Largely, they want to stay out of politics. If pressed, they will. What's wrong with that? So hold on. You get punished for being on a lineup with Palestinian DJs. You get punished for wanting there to be a ceasefire and de-escalation and return of both hostages on both sides. You get punished if you don't want to get involved in politics. You get punished if you try and raise money for both sides. Like, it's exhausting. Like, so there's only one way to approach this issue. There's only one way to react. There's only one way for you to kind of address this. If you don't address it in that one way, then you're you know what I mean? You're useless. You're gonna get discarded. You're gonna get insulted. You're gonna get, you know, you're gonna have your reputation damaged, like ruined and shit. I don't think that's fair, man. Honestly, I really don't. And like I said, I don't see anyone still asking the question, what the hell was he doing in the Israeli Navy for 7 years? That's the actual more important question. Not all this stuff. Oh, you put parties on in Israel. Zionists is like, or you could just be from there. Like, what? DJs like Roi Perez are queer, metropolitan, subcultural. Largely, they want to stay out of politics. If pressed, they will distance themselves from the colony's current government, criticize aspects of the policy, and even champion approved native causes like the mental health of queer Palestinians or the fundraiser for safe imperial core charities like Palestine's Children Relief Fund. What's wrong with that? So what are they trying to say? If they received a bunch of money from some Israeli people to support some of these charities, would they reject it? Just a principle. They'll deny people who need the help most not the access to it because it doesn't come from the right hands. Like, come on. Despite these superficial differences, Gadot and Perez are both avatars of the colony's soft power within culture. Gadot helps project Israel futurity and permanence within the mass culture. A tough militaristic Sabra, a frontier guardsman of white Western hegemony. Perez performs parallel roles within the queer underground, soothing us with an image of the settler of Tel Aviv as the enlightened and the progressive. Both profit from and depend on the settler occupation of Palestine. Both abhor and oppose actual Palestine resistance. Perez is a gentrified side of the same genocidal coin. In addition to normalizing the occupation in rave culture, Roi Perez also undermines community boycotts of Zionist and KKK-owned venues. His Instagram is an interminable visual loop of scabbings, from Berghain door selfies where he's resident to, of course, the pinned post from Boiler Room. It is critical, so he's not allowed to play. So because he doesn't adhere to the boycott, he's now an enemy. Don't get me wrong. Maybe these radical somewhat mean-spirited tactics actually might work in the end, because I guess maybe the ends justify the means, but I don't know. This feels a little bit excessive. I get, maybe being disappointed that some DJ that you love and follow isn't maybe supporting the boycott by like doing all this. That's what. So what? He's meant to like not play at those places. Like, I don't know, if he's not participating in the boycott, it's not participating in the boycott. Why then try and like beat him over the head or insult him because he's doing things that the people that are in the boycott aren't doing? It's like, he's not a part of it. It is critical we spell these links out. This is a DJ who encodes via his plucky province to metropole settler backstory. He's a plucky story, and his appropriation of black house music. Oh my god. Don't get me wrong, right? Seeing kind of music guys up on stages, right, around the world, playing to thousands, 100,000 of people, African music that I couldn't legitimately play at most clubs I try and play at. You know, I'd kind of get told to like, hey, fucking switch it up, you know, start fucking playing good music and shit. And now seeing these guys getting booked around the world, you know, it can leave you a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth. But the game is the game. The game is the game, man. Get better. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. Like, and also it's just music. Like, you know, you don't like, I don't understand. If anything, you want more people to play it so it spreads. So everyone's more aware of the genius of the fucking legendary tracks that were made within that genre, right? Not this idea that, you know, oh, only black people can play it. It's like, come on, bro. Come on. And also you're a DJ. You should what is this, man? So black people can only play black people music by the DJ. Same goes for white people. It's like, that's just boring. What the fuck is that? But yeah, what do I know? The colonial narrative of the benevolent, queer-friendly, liberal Zionism. At the same time, he is actively undermining boycotts aimed at resisting the co-option of the rave culture by the empire. What can Israeli artists do then? I want to hear this. What do they say? What do they suggest? Because they made it seem like Israeli artists are they should basically just unalive themselves. But what can they do? Israeli is not an immutable identity. It describes an affiliation with a colonial project which is less than 80 years old. When Palestine is liberated, nobody will be called Israeli. Like Rhodesian or white South African Confederate, the term will one day be a morbid artifact of a collapsed white supremacist regime. Okay, but until then, that's in an ideal world. But until then, if you're an Israeli artist who just happens to be from there, you never served a day in your life in the army, no one in your family's killed anybody, let alone Palestinians, what can you do? Just pretend you're like Brazilian or something. Like, what do you do? Throughout history, there are records of settlers switching sides. Roland Bunting, is that his name? Born into a military loyalist family in the north of Ireland, helped to form. Is that what they're basically saying then? Switching sides. So what? They want Palestinians, they want Israeli DJs to then switch to being Palestinian. That's what will make it. What? Hold on. Throughout history, there are records of settlers switching sides. Ronald Bunting, born into a military loyalist family in the north of Ireland, helped to form the Irish National Liberation Army in the 1970s. He became its leader in 1978 and was assassinated in 1980 by loyalist paramilitaries. Similar examples can be found in Algeria, Mozambique, Angola, and South Africa. In doing so, these settlers sacrificed their status within colonial projects, their individual spoils, their safety. They put their bodies on the line. They became race traitors to coinage of a no, in whatever his name is. By contrast, Roi Perez reaps the rewards of his settler self-actualization, having launched an international DJ career of the thriving underground nightlife of Tel Aviv. He continues to normalize the occupation and undermine the collective boycott efforts. He does this with the indulgence of the underground-centered spaces like Basement and Fold. That's probably why Fold cancelled. I think it was at Fold and it cancelled, went to MOT, and then obviously Origins cancelled when all these articles started going viral and people from their, Origin fans were like, I'm not going if you... Yeah. I'm assuming there are many things Perez and other laundrette DJs could do to martially support Palestinian liberation. There's a bullet point of what they should be doing, right? As Israeli people, publicly renounce their settler citizenships, passports, and identity. Real easy. Real easy. If you don't want us to call you Zionists, if you don't want us to call you like settler DJs, you have to renounce your citizenship, your passport, and your identity. Real easy. Refuse all future commerce and association with settler colony. Apologize for the normalization of the colony and the commitment of the R word. Respect ongoing boycott actions aimed at delegitimizing the entity, such as Berghain, Hor, and KKK owned venues. What else was there? and use every tool at their disposal to agitate for the core tenets of the Palestinian liberation, an independent sovereign Palestine state of over all the historic Palestine, and a right to return to undisplaced Palestinians, and legitimacy of other forms of resistance, whatever it may be called. Jesus Christ, a long list, man. It's still going. A call for escalation. The horrors are in Gaza are impossible to describe or comprehend. It is critical we escalate our efforts within the imperial core now to delegitimize and isolate entity as rapidly as completely as possible. Okay, so I guess what they're trying to say is that because the level of violence and tragedy in Palestine is really ramping up, they need to ramp up too, to kind of, you know, try and help, which I understand, and it's, you know, somewhat admirable. But it's just, I don't know, it's just maybe the look, everything about it, the aura, something's really not there right here, you know. Maybe he wouldn't admit it now because he's already admitted to loads in the Jordan interview, but, you know, they need to speak about that. They really do. But let's continue. It includes the challenges of individuals who normalize within the culture. In the 80s, there were public blacklists of musicians who broke the cultural boycott to play in the apartheid. But this is not a cultural boycott, really. Yeah? This is like a subculture boycott. It's like a niche boycott. I don't think it's a public one. I don't think there's a lot of people that even know what's going on about this boycott. I swear to God. In the 1980s, there were public blacklist. These measures were effective in raising the cost of the normalization and scabbing which would have learned more from. We urge Origins, Fold, Body Movements, Basement, all other venues, collectives to cease platforming DJs from Laundrette. Jesus Christ. Pure, unbridled, in fucking full HD counterculture right there. Like, let's go, get him the fuck. It's like, come on, man, that's not fair. For their long-standing normalization of Israel, they adhere to tenets by the Al-Falbin, and they will call for their whatever it may be. So yeah, absolutely crazy. Anything more here? Directly challenge club owners and promoters who are booking Laundrette Collective refuse to play on the lineups of these DJs. Unfollow them on social media, and if they are playing in the function, don't go. Tell others not to go, and stop going to venues which celebrate artists complicit in the genocide. So that effectively led to Origins cancelling his gig. Origin Sound cancelled his gig, and then Roi Perez decided to respond to Origins cancelling his gig via his Instagram. This is what Roi Perez has had to say about Origins cancelling his gig proper last minute too, if I'm not mistaken, just the other day. I think I might did it on Wednesday or something. Sorry, what's the first one say? The first slide says, last week Origins cancelled my all night long show in Fold in London. I want to address the claims that led to their decision to make it clear what I said, or to make it clear where I stand. Yes, sad, because he's a big fan of Fold too, if I'm not mistaken. Hasn't he posted a bunch of stuff about Fold? Yeah, he's got a whole highlights thing with all the times he's been to Fold and shit, right? So he was meant to literally, he was advertising it the other day. He was super looking forward to it, posting about on his IG all over the place, and now it's just not on. Oh, what happened there? Is he deleted it? What happened there? I just was watching something and it got deleted, or something went crazy there. Okay, don't know what happened there. Something happened there anyway. But big up him. Big up him. Let's go back to his page anyway. I want to read what that statement says. So let's read the statement in full from Roi Perez. He says, I oppose the Israeli regime and its ongoing genocide of Palestine, and the people support the culture. I support the cultural boycott of Israel as a part of the wider movement for Palestinian liberation, and I reject all forms of nationalism, including Zionism. So he's doing what the article says. He's just not renouncing his citizenship, I guess. Or they're pretending he's from fucking Sicily or some shit. This is reflected in the actions. I no longer play in Israel. Since October 2023, the only show I played there was our non-profit fundraiser. I have no professional ties to the country, and I use my platform to fundraise, amplify Palestinian voices, and direct sources to Palestinian-led organizations. That commitment is public and ongoing. Come on, man. That sounds chill, man. What's wrong with that? I know he did like 7 years in the Israeli Navy. I know he meant on many missions, right? So the idea, but he doesn't even play in Israel. He doesn't even go to Israel. He doesn't even know what Israel is anymore. It's been years, man. It's been so long. 2023 is like ages ago. Growing up under occupation means being affected by propaganda from birth. Oh my god, he's blaming, you know what we say about Brendan blaming the team? Instead of blaming the team, he's blaming the country. Is he gonna say that Benjamin Netanyahu fucking hypnotized him? BB hypnotized me. It wasn't my fault. Oh come on, Roi Perez. This is a horrible defense, bro. I don't even know where Israel is on the map. I don't even play there anymore. I don't even go there. Growing up under occupation means being affected by propaganda from birth. Questioning your surroundings isn't something you do overnight. Neither is recognizing how active the role in city's nightlife is contributing to normalization. That shift only became possible once I was exposed to what, in 2003? Other voices and perspectives that set me on the path towards rejecting the system I was raised in. He's blaming Bibi Netanyahu. He's blaming his parents. Yo, Roi Perez, bro. Don't ever do a crime with Roi Perez, because if you get caught, he's snitching for sure. It's also part of why 10 years ago I left Israel, cancelled my residency rights. Oh, and ceased contribute tax money to that country. Fuck, really? He's done quite a lot then, isn't it? Come on, Ravers of Palestine, man. Leave him alone. He's done quite a lot. Publicly circulating the names of artists and clubs with the intention of isolate them doesn't advance the movement of Palestinian liberation. It creates fear, fractures the communities, and silence people who are already committed to the cause. These tactics don't dismantle apartheid. They undermine solidarity, which is the heart of our community. Yeah, exactly. They don't. It's actually quite. There is an apartheid surf about it, but he's basically saying, look, please don't cancel my. Please don't fucking fuck up my livelihood, because he knows how damaging this could be. And I think this is a bit excessive, man. This, because I didn't know anything about that stuff, right? So he doesn't live there. He doesn't pay taxes there. He doesn't have his residency, he mentioned, right? So again, I don't think you need to do this in order to fucking, you know, live and breathe in the industry like that. As long as you haven't done anything heinous in the army, I think that should be okay. I'm not gonna lie. I think everything else is crazy. Like these guys are basically saying, if you're Israeli and you're in the industry, you can't take part unless you renounce your citizenship. And it's like, why should you have to do that? That's the land of your birth, land of your parents and shit, ancestors. Why should you have to renounce your ancestry just so you can play in fucking Berghain, or just so you can play in places, not Berghain anyway, because they don't mind, but you can play in places conscience free? That seems a bit excessive. That seems a little bit excessive. I will continue to use the dance floor as a space of resistance. Let's see if you still have gigs, mate. Joy and solidarity. Queer nightlife has always been political. I believe in its power to bring people together against a system of oppression. Through my work as a DJ and a host of Laundrette, I will keep supporting Palestinian liberation, uplifting marginalized voices, and building safer, free spaces. So everyone who bought a ticket, I'm sorry, I was looking forward to sharing a night with you, Roi. Fuck. Like, they're going for him, innit? They're going for him, bro. I think it might be over for the guy. I'm not gonna lie. I really think it might be over for him. Let's check the Instagram. What Rage of Palestine saying? What they're saying on their stories. I love the complicit DJ damage control starter package removing your pin. Oh really? Oh, did you see that? Hold on. Oh, is that what happened? Oh no, is that what happened? Roi, okay. I love the complicit DJ damage control starter pack of removing your pin whore boiler room set and then posting a vague comment of statements on Instagram to say that you are doing your best to uplift Palestinian voices on a dance floor without actually saying him how or what. To be fair, that was a bit of a lie, innit? To be fair, what they actually did in terms of profits, I think was better. You should have just told the truth. We put on a night, as I said here, right? And some of the profits of that night went to help queer folk in Israel and Palestine. Boom. But lying and saying you're uplifting, like, who did you uplift? Like, who did you book? Like, let's be real, you know? Not that, you know, you have to do that to kind of justify yourself, but if you're going to use that, you're going to have to prove that you did it, innit? Uplift Palestine voices. The most shameful part of this is the artists who are liking it and further normalizing, enabling all of this. Yo, everyone's getting called out. If you like a post, you're getting called out. If I don't know, if you don't unfollow somebody, if you're pinned, like, Jesus. But you know what? If the means justify the ends, then it might be worth it, because I don't know, that video I saw recently of like, I don't know where it was in Palestine, but there was like a building that was half blown, like blown apart, and there was people like, you know, ambulance services and stuff trying to help people, and you can see them climbing up the stairs, and then 2 seconds later you see a missile hit it, and everyone just evaporates. All the people that were like, I think there might be like Red Cross or some people that do the ambulance and shit, just gone. It's like they're legitimately, like, if it wasn't bad enough that they're killing women and children, like even people who are helping, like aid workers and shit. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing there? So if that brings about the end of that sort of stuff, or the end of seeing clips of people's, you know, severed limbs being peeled off of a roof of a hospital, I'm all for it. But it does feel a little bit wild though, isn't it? Like the finger pointing, the fucking ganging up on the cancer, like it's a bit intense. Like, you like that post? Like, I don't know, maybe someone liked it because they thought the sentiments was somewhat sincere. Maybe they didn't think it was that big of a deal. I don't know. Like, also, like, why they get, like, Jesus Christ, man, like people are getting cancelled for liking things. The most shameful part of this is that may you all never experience the horrors of silence and spinelessness to call out and check your friends or causes. I get that some people think dance music or make dance music or clubbing in general political, but if some people don't, they shouldn't be cancelled or chastised for it either. I think that's another unfair thing. Like, as someone whose entire family left Baghdad to escape the horrors of war and ethnic cleansing, I've shared dance floors with many of you. How do you think these actions make me and others of my experience feel? Shame on you. Damn. DJ, was that DJ In? DJ Inwave is not having it. There's another person here. What's that? While Roi Perez served in the IDF Navy, it blocked the 2010 Freedom Flotilla, and it's... Yeah, I think it might be over for Roi Perez. I think it might be over. While Roi Perez served in the IDF's Navy, it blocked the 2010 Freedom Flotilla and executed the activists on board. So someone was able to figure out the dates that he served in the Navy, and were able to kind of, you know, check out any events that happened around then. And they found this article from 15 years ago that said Gaza Flotilla, or Gaza Flotilla, or Flotilla, I think that's what it's called, activists were shot in the head at close range. Israel is tonight under pressure to allow an independent inquiry into an assault on the Gaza Aid Flotilla after an autopsy result of the bodies of those killed, obtained by The Guardian, revealed they were peppered with 9mm bullets, many fired at close. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. I think it might be a wrap for Roi Perez, bro. I think you might have to go into fucking... I think you might have to get your PT license or something. Become a chef. Like, I think it might be a rap, bro. I think it might be a rap. This is worse than that guy from E1, innit? That allegedly was involved in some, you know, nefarious things over there. Fucking hell. Oh my god. Oh my god. And he's like, you're saying you uplifted voices. Brother, what did you do in the Navy for 7 years? Please tell us. Oh, what's his post? Is that another person talking about Roi Perez? I'm asking you for the spirit. Okay, cool. No, that's what you call it? The lady from Tupac Shakur's grandmother, I think, or whatever, who passed away recently. RP to her. Let's continue on. Let's another one. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Roi Perez was on IOF for 7 years. He's being actively critiqued by Ravers of Palestine. Shame on ATL Pride for this booking. Yeah, he'll most likely get fucking cancelled for that too, by the way. He's playing in a place called Deep South with Beer Cat and Roi Perez on the lineup. The flyer's quite cool though. Fuck, man, they're going after everything, bro. What's this one? Who this one said? Why are unions of a genocidal settler colony silent on genocide? Okay. Another one says here, who's this? Who's cancelling their boiler room? Who's that? Boycott boiler room. Who's cancelling their boiler room? What DJ is that? I can't see their name. Is that Yoon something? Yoon Song. I don't know who that person is, but whoever that is, I'm cancelling my boiler room Lisbon appearance. I believe that that I believe that more than ever we need to be vigilant and protective of our underground culture that was built on small gestures of resistance, love, and liberation, personal and communal. The current corporate takeover of the scene can only lead to division, standardization, and control, especially when linked to the economy of war and genocide. My position is clear. I stand against genocide and apartheid state. Free Palestine. Someone called Yen Sung. Big up Yen Sung. Okay, fucking hell. And then going on a post here regarding what's his face, Roi Perez. It says here, culture is political. This is an article from that. What's that? Harvard? No, I think I want to go on the other one. This is the one. He served 7. This is the one, right? Big up Ravers for Palestine. Per his 2016 interview with Haaretz, translated from Hebrew, Roi Perez spent 7 years working on missile ships for the IOF, manning the genocidal navy currently menacing the Sumud flotilla. So he says here he served 7 years in the navy as an electronics officer on a missile ship. So he ensured the missiles were firing, basically. he kept that ship, you know, on. An electronics engineer on a missile ship. Fuck. At the same time, he studied for a multidisciplinary bachelor's degree in University of Haifa. At that time, he says, I would listen to a lot of indie electronic music, The Knife, Postal Service, Kate Bush. Imagine listening to Kate Bush as you're fucking firing missiles on the coast of fucking Palestine and shit. Like, wow. I would put on headphones on the bus on the way to the army and escaping the music. It kept me going. I like you, Roi Perez. I like you. You know I like you a lot, but that's some serial killer shit. Playing some Kate Bush in the headphones on your way to fucking blow up women and children is insane. Truly, truly insane. 7 years is wild though. You're required to serve in the army for what? 3 years? 2.5? Man did 7. Run it back. Fuck. It might be over for him, man. I'm not gonna lie. It might be over for the guy. It really fucking might be over. He said something about, oh yeah, I don't do this, I don't do that. I haven't been to Israel in long. That's his boyfriend, right? What's his name? Partok? Yonti. That's it, Yonti. Let's see if this is true, because I'm curious to see. I've not been back there since 2003. Let's see what Yonti's. Or maybe Yonti delete some of the pictures as well. When was this taken? 2004. That's in a basement in New York. That's them in front of Berghain, looking cute. Let's see any posts here of them perform, because it'd be funny if we see one. 2024. What that is, I don't know. That is in Ukraine, playing in that famous club in Kiev with a number. Berghain, him and his dog. Berghain. What is that one? That's Asia somewhere. Berghain again. Berlin again. The school, pick up the school, basement in New York again. So you played okay. Nothing. Okay, I don't see anything. Oh, there we go. There's Fee Garden. So they played there when? What was that? When was that night there? Honored to. I'm excited to host. My dear friend Quelza for a next curated Fee Garden, local queens. So I imagine he was probably that's September 2023. You make it sound like he wasn't there in ages. Most likely he might have been there then. What's this one? Fee Garden again. Yeah, look at, see there we said edited. When was that edited though? Edited when? Edited when? Because it says there, as always, portion of earnings will be donated to a non-profit organization to provide financial support. What did people say in the comments back then? Nothing, innit, really? Berlin gig, Yonti again, Fee Garden again. With who's that? Alarico, whatever his fucking name is. Apologies to you, guy. I don't know. Final thoughts on this whole situation. I think it's kind of unfair. I think it's not unfair. I think it's kind of, it's kind of excessive, because so far we've only got that one article, right, about what happened in 15 years ago, and at the same time that he served in the Israeli Navy. But I think that should be the real focus of the investigation, of the critique. That should be the focus. not whether or not he fucking runs parties or puts on nights in Israel and shit. Because he's from there, he lives there. Of course, he'd kind of try and give back or whatever. Maybe I don't think that's really the biggest problem. I think the real issue is to figure out what exactly happened when he was in the Navy. That would give you a better idea of, you know, the kind of person he is and stuff, and the kind of things that he got up to whilst he was serving his country. But Jesus Christ, man, that's a shocker. I'm surprised it took people so long to find out, because I did think, I think I might have mentioned it in a couple of pods actually, that I was surprised he wasn't getting any blowback, because I thought, hold on, this guy's Palestinian, and so this guy's Israeli, no? He's kind of always going back there too to play throughout the entirety of, you know, the war in Gaza or the genocide in Gaza, better put. He was playing in Israel, going back and forth and shit. I was wondering, why is he not get not that he should get, you know, hate comments, but I was just curious to see that, okay, people seem to be maybe having a bit of nuance here, and you know, hey, this guy's not this, he doesn't do that. I don't know, but it seems like people have woken up or caught on, and now, you know, it's the cancel Roi Perez session right now. He's getting it left, right, and center. So I feel for the guy, I really do. But it looks like it's over. It looks like it's fucking over, bro. That one article from The Guardian was crazy. Like, that one article from The Guardian was insane. I think it might be a wrap for the guy. Honestly, I really do think it might be a wrap. But I guess he's gonna try his best with that message to try and fix things and shit. But I think it might be a wrap. I really do think it might be a wrap. And I think he's limited his comments, right? Yeah. I think most of his posts have been limited too. Honestly, I think most of his posts have been limited as well. So unfortunately, I think he's seeing the, you know, the hate and shit. He's not responding to it the best, and yeah, he's limited all the comments, I think, on his Instagram. So you can't say jack shit. You can't say jack shit to him directly, you know, which I guess is what it is. I guess it is what it is. Anyways, my friends, that has been the Agostino's English episode number 954. Thank you so much for tuning in as per usual. Been a pleasure to have your company. If you're first time tuning into the show, make sure you smash like and subscribe and all that good shit. If you listen to the audio pod, you will hear my tune today by a band called Dropdead. Legendary hardcore band from like Rhode Island, I'm sure, back in the day. This is from one of their albums. I think it's self-titled as well, if I'm not mistaken. The track that I'm playing as my song of the day is Tied Down for Survival, courtesy of Dropdead, hardcore till the day that I die. Thank you for tuning in. See you guys soon. Take care. Peace.